Now, my name's Dietrich, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll be your guide for about the next half hour or so. Now, let's start with the safety rule, okay, folks? Safety first. Now, first, we will all have to keep our masks on. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, folks, but we will all have to keep our masks on. Second, no prolonged standing, folks. Now, if you want to stand for a picture real quick, I'll get a good photo off here along the river. But be aware, folks, we have some low bridges, so watch your head. And also, life jackets. But don't worry about life jackets. I only have 2 life jackets anyway. One for me and one for the little one. Alright, folks, now I have a quick question, guys. Do we have any locals on the boat? Anybody from San Antonio on the boat? No locals? Okay, that's good to know. You know why I asked that, folks? Because now I know I can just make all this up. No, I'm just kidding, folks. Everything I tell you will be true, guys. Everything I tell you will be true. We'll start with this section right here, folks. This is the River Center Mall area. Now, this is one of the newest additions to the Riverwalk, folks. This was done back in 1988. And here, there are 125 shops, restaurants, and small boutiques here in the River Center. There's actually over 1 million square feet of shopping space here, folks. And right here, I'm going to point out some fruit trees here around the river. And none of these fruit trees are actually native to the Riverwalk. Those come from the workers who built all this, just throwing their fruit out after lunch. Right there to the right, that's a lopot tree, the Chinese plum tree. And this next tree we're going to wander here in front of us, that's an orange tree. And right here to the right, folks, I'm sorry I tried to avoid that, guys. That's poison ivy. No, I'm just kidding, folks. It's not poison ivy. Just making sure you're paying attention up there. These are lemon trees that we're under right here, folks. See how the lemon? There's even a bird nest in there. See the bird nest?
Now think of all your places to go.
And coming over here to the right of us, folks, when I pass this little footbridge right here, if you look to the right, you're going to see an 8-foot statue there. And that's a statue of St. Anthony in San Antonio de Padua. And this statue, that was a gift for the 1968 World Fair from the Portuguese. And contrary to popular belief, folks, the city was actually named after the river. The river was named the San Antonio River in 1691. And that's way before the city sprang up. So by the time the city arrived, they just named it San Antonio after the river.
Christmas on the unemployment line.
Se me hacen bien poquitos light, right, honey?
¿Se te hacen qué?
Bien poquitos light.
Lines?
Light.
And right here to the right of the boat, folks, this is actually the San Antonio Chamber of Commerce. This is the only Chamber of Commerce here in Texas on the river. But I guess we figured here in San Antonio, if you can put the Chamber of Commerce on the Riverwalk, then why not? And if you look here to the right, folks, on the street level there, you're going to see a big red sculpture, and that's called the Torch of Friendship. And that was a gift from Mexico by the artist Sebastian back in 2002. And that sculpture is massive. It's 65 feet tall and weighs 45 tons. looking to make this left-hand turn, okay, folks? Just want to make sure there's nobody else coming in before I drive out there. Nobody coming, okay. Now when I make this left-hand turn, okay, folks, if you look here in front of the boat to the left, you're going to see a hotel here with square rooms. This is the Hilton Palacio del Rio, the Palace of the River. This hotel, folks, is in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the fastest modularly built building of its size ever. They built this entire hotel, folks, from beginning to end. There's 500 rooms there. And they built this entire hotel from beginning to end in 202 working days. Now, 202 working days, folks, that's less than 8 months. Now, just to give you guys something to compare that to, if you look here to the right, you're going to see one of our ticket offices right here. It took us 18 months to build this. So I tell everybody here to the right, 18 months. Here to the left, 8 months. And the way they built this building so fast, folks, was they built the first 4 floors right here on site, along with the elevator shaft here in the middle as a base. And all those square rooms you see, those were being built at the same time, 7 miles out of town on the assembly line, and they were brought in on flatbed trucks. And when they arrived, folks, every room was fully furnished. Everything was in there. All the beds were in place, pictures on the walls, dressers, mirrors, everything was ready to go. All they had to do was use 2 giant cranes and stack these rooms on top of each other like Lego blocks. And I tell you this, folks, they did this in 202 working days, so they even got the weekends off. Now, the way they got the weekends off was, in the beginning of this project, H.P. Zachary, the man who built this building, says we'll have to do 10 rooms a day. So they wanted to stack 5 rooms on each side. But in the beginning of the process, they realized they were so good with the crane work here, they were doing 35 rooms a day. So at 35 rooms a day, they were so far ahead of schedule here, he gave them the weekends off, and they still got it done in 202 days, world record time. And this part of the river, right here in front of us, folks, this is the Arneson River Theater. The seating here is to the left, and the stage is to the right. The amphitheater divided by the river.
Dale, José. José.
And I'll tell you, folks, we can seat 800 people here in the Arneson. We call that intimate seating. Because with 800 people up there, you're going to get to know your neighbors. Now, does this part of the river look familiar, folks? Have you guys ever seen this part of the Riverwalk before? If you've ever seen a movie called Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock, this is where they filmed the swimsuit competition. And right here to the right of the boat, folks, this is the Briscoe Western Art Museum. Now, this used to be the original San Antonio Public Library from 1930 until 1968. In 1968, it was renovated and turned into the Hertzberg Circus Museum.